Hello there guys, hope you're all doing well. I just wanted to start off by saying thank you so much for all the feedback that you've given me from the videos I have done you over the last couple of days, the tutorials, the time lapses and looking at how to make your own numbers. I'm pleased you found them also useful, and I've really enjoyed seeing the pictures you sent me of signs you've done using the videos to help. So yeah, thanks very much for the feedback, keep it coming. Obviously I'm doing these to help you out, so if there is anything you'd like to learn or like to know how to look at, then do ask for that, and then yeah, I can see what I can do to help. Obviously, I have turned down doing people's skins. The whole point of doing these videos is so that you can do your own. I mean, I get asked so many times, can you paint me this? Can you paint me that? And the answer is, one, I don't really have the time, and two, I love painting the skins and I get a lot of enjoyment out of doing them. It's very satisfying seeing something that you've painted or created going around the track and looking cool, whether that's with the full scale cars or whether that's online. It's the same feeling. So I want you to be able to enjoy doing that as well. So the whole point of these videos, this video series, is to let you be able to paint the signs hopefully to the same standard that I do. I mean, I don't want it to be some sort of secretive, like, oh, I've got this trace sign and I'm not going to give it to you sort of attitude. I don't think that really benefits anyone. I mean, if you want people to get better at it, you've got to let them know how to do that. So that's the point in making these videos anyway. So please don't ask me to paint you a skin, because I'm not going to say yes, not because I'm being horrible or I want to keep my signs to myself, simply because I want you to be able to do it for yourself and enjoy doing that as much as I do, and then everyone wins because you don't ask and you enjoy doing it as well. So that's the reasoning. If you do ask, while I'll say no, I hope you understand, and also I hope you take what I show you in the videos and learn to paint the signs and enjoy doing that. So on to this video anyway. We ran that poll last night on the page and it came back clearly that what you guys want to see most of all is how to add detail and a few more effects to the basic paint in the video. So obviously you can see at the moment I've just mocked up the side of a frog eye here. It's a RecFest template, so it's a good sized document, but you can see it's a silver, well, silver's an exaggeration, it's a grey paint. So we're going to look how to make this a bit more detailed, how to add a few effects to this. This is the same on heat or on what's it, R factor, anything. It's the same effects. I'm just doing it on a RecFest template here because I've got one to hand. So yeah, as I said, I've just mocked up some very basic signs on the side of this, just keeping them one colour. We're not looking at the signs at all in this video, just it's just to show you an example of them on the car. What we're looking at is the grey, or turning it to hopefully a more silvery paint behind that, and just a few simple effects that we can add to that. Nothing complicated, too complicated in this video. I can do, if you like, a more in-depth paint tutorial of how to, so on stuff like on the F2s, the F1s, maybe some of the saloons, they'd have a more technical paint job. We can look at that in another video, but for 90% of people, I'd say they're not interested in spending hours, is what it does take, just painting the base of a car. They just want something a bit quicker, a bit more simple, that can take this to a bit more of an improved effect than what we've got going on here. So yeah, I'll stop talking and jump into what we're going to look at in the video. So we're going to do three different things. We're going to look at first adding a bit of sort of three-dimensional effect, if you like, to the paint job. Second, we're going to look at adding glitter to the paint job, and then thirdly, we're going to look at adding some sort of shapes around in the paint job, similar to what some of the drivers are having on their cars now, some sort of tribal patterns. We're going to look at adding them as well. And yeah, hopefully it won't be too long a video, and then we can yeah, we can all be a little bit better at painting skins at the end of it, hopefully, or at least know how I do this. Again, there's loads of different techniques out there, and I'm by no means saying I'm the best. I'm certainly not the best at painting skins at all, but this is how I've learned to do it, and this is what I want to share with you. So let's start off. So we've got the paint and signs layer here, as you can see, and we've just coloured this basic light grey, a sort of middle grey. I can show it to you exactly where it is if you do want to follow along. So it is pretty much, that's the colour code there, 878787. So what we're going to do is we're just going to create a new layer above the paint and signs one. You can either do this by selecting the new layer button here, or just simply Control Shift and N, and that will create a new layer. So we're going to call this, let's call it shadowing. I'm not sure if that's even how you spell shadowing. Let's not call it that. Let's just call it 3D paint. Lovely. And then just mode to normal, color none, just okay, and then that creates that there. Lovely. So next thing you're going to want to do is select the brush tool. Again, you can either find this in the options palette on the side, or you can just use the keyboard shortcut of B and it will bring up the brush. So we want to set the brush size to somewhere around, I think about 150 is good on this particular template. But if you see how big that brush is compared to the template, just size that with whatever, because I know obviously the heat templates are a lot of a smaller size, so 150 on that would be way too big. But somewhere around this size in comparison to the template. Hardness set to 0, and then the flow we're going to set to 20%, opacity to 100. So 150, 120, and then the hardness to 0. So what we want to do is we want to start off with, we're going to start with darker colours. So pick a colour somewhere around, let's go for there. So it's 3A, 3A, 3A is a colour code if you want to copy it. And then basically what we're going to do is we're going to draw round the edges of the car. Oh, I have mentioned, sorry, we do need to set the blend mode on this one to overlay. So it becomes an overlay layer. Sorry, that's on the 3D paint layer we're working on. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to draw around the edge of the car. Let's have a look. We also want to change this to normal, so I can see that's on dissolve at the moment. So let's go back to there. So mode normal there, and then overlay there, and we're just going to draw around the edge of the car. As you can see already what's happening, we're getting some depth added to the paint there. So it's very simple. You just do want to trace around the edges of the car where there may be a shadow. Obviously for the straight lines you can click, hold shift and click again and it'll draw that straight line. But yeah, so you can go around the windows as well, obviously. It is just a case of playing with it until you're happy, but we'll just do it quickly. Obviously I don't want the video to go on too long, and I know we've got a fair bit to cover, but we can we can just have a quick look at this now. I won't go into too much depth with it. So now we can pick a slightly darker colour, somewhere around there, and then just continue to add a little bit more shading. Here we go, lovely. Until you're somewhat happy with the effect you've got. You can already see what it's doing to the car, just adding a bit more of a 3D feel. Another effect you can do, which I'll go through quickly, is adding a painting along with the same thing in the body lines of the car to add a bit more depth in there. So for this we'll set the brush to, let's do it to 25. No, let's do it to 30. 25 is a little bit small. Again, hardness to 0, exactly the same. We're going to set this to a perfect black, and then, as I said earlier, if you just click and then hold down shift, it will draw straight lines. So what you want to do is just follow the body lines around the car. I'll just do it very quickly. Obviously, you can spend more time and get it looking a lot nicer, but for the sake of this video, just doing it nice and quickly. Obviously, remember to miss out the plates on the car, as this is above the plates layer. So if you didn't avoid them, it would go straight over it, and obviously that wouldn't look very good at all. So go down here again, remembering to miss out that plate, pick it up at the bottom and to there. So as you can see, that just adds a little bit more detail, a very quick effect. Obviously you can take more time and get it to line up better, but just for the sake of this video I'm going quite quickly. So then you can see that just adds a bit more depth in the body lines and can again add to the paint effect. So then now on this same 3D paint layer, you can just change the colour to a sort of lighter grey. So this one's B6, B6, B6. And then again, changing a brush back to 150, the size we had it on originally. You can just go in and then now just add some white highlights to the signs, or to the skin as well. So areas where the light would be hitting. So along the top edges is normally quite good. Maybe in these window areas here. And just have a fiddle basically until you're happy. It's not an exact science of how it should look, but yeah, it can just you can just use this to add some highlights around the place, and basically until you're happy. As I said, there's no exact science, and you can jump between them if you don't want it. If it's got a bit too light, you can just add a bit of darker back in there, and then basically just play with it until you're happy with how it's looking, and then you can create a bit more of a 3D effect on the paint. So obviously if we just remove this layer, you can see how it looked before and then add it again. So you can see that is quite a nice, simple, took 5 seconds really, or maybe 5 minutes to do, but yeah, once you get quicker at it. And then obviously if you wanted to and you were clever, you can just mirror this effect. So if you just go up, I think it's to here, yeah, and then duplicate layer, 3D paint copy 2, and then you can just drag this up here, and then edit, transform, flip horizontal, and then just line it up I wonder if this will work on this template. Looks relatively correct. I mean, it may need a little bit of tweaking, but on some it will, on some it won't. But you can just line that up to the template, and then obviously it does the other side for you as well. But for the sake of it, doesn't take very long, so you may as well just retrace that if you want it. But that is a way you could copy it across, and is also useful to know. But back to the side you're actually working on. Let's go down. Where are you? Right, so here we are. So that's created that effect, which is quite nice. What we'll look at now quickly is just adding some glitter to this, and then obviously lastly we'll just talk about adding some shapes into it as well. So you normally want, you can always merge this paint and signs layer with the 3D paint. So if you just do that, oh no, that's not right, sorry, you want to just merge this one down, there we go, into the layer, and then that will create it. So now that's all as one, which is yeah, if you did want to do that, then you can always work above this, which is absolutely fine. Right, so to do the glitter effect, what we're going to look at is we want to create a new layer. We want the blend mode here to be set to normal. And we'll call this one just glitter, obviously for the sake of it. So this is actually an effect that Pierce showed me. Hopefully he'll be happy with me showing you. I'm sure he will. I've done enough for him over the years. But yeah, this is one that Pierce has come up with. It works pretty well. It's nice and simple. Obviously, I'm sure, again, there's 1,000 ways you can do a glitter effect on the skins, but this is one that Pierce showed me. I really like it. I think it looks really good. It's really simple to do and quite an initiative way to do it. I'm not sure if Pierce came out of it originally or not, but whatever it is, it's him I got it off, so I'll be giving him the credit on this one. But what we're going to do for this is you're going to obviously make a new layer, blend mode of normal. You want to grab your brush, make it as big as you can, and this one's 5,000, which is perfect. On this mode here, you want to set it to dissolve. Opacity, you want to set to 1. Flow can go back to 100, smoothing at 0, so it's biggest brush size you can get. Mode is dissolve, opacity 1%, flow 100 is the settings you want to do. So then you want to pick, I mean, you can play around with the colours, but for the sake of this, we'll go over white, and then just add that to the layer here. And if we zoom in, you can you see what that's done to the paint there? The lots of little white dots, which is a good start. Another cool effect you can do with this is, again, grab your brush and maybe just change the colour of it slightly. So for the sake of it, we'll just pick an orange. I'm not sure how this is going to look, but then add this into the paints. And if we zoom in again, you can see now you've got some orange dots like that, which is great. I mean, it is a subtle effect, but obviously in real life the glitter on the cars is tiny anyway, so we'll just add, obviously you can play around with it and find colours that you like, but we'll just add a blue as well to add a bit more sort of colour in there. And then that's just basically, very simply, how to add a glitter effect over the paint on the cars. Obviously, if your brush isn't slightly big enough here, you can see the white has been missed off. You can just add some more up there, change that colour to white, and then just add some more in. There you go, just like that. But yeah, that's a very simple way to add glitter. I think it's pretty effective. Obviously, normally it'd be over more detailed signs than this. Obviously, you can have it below or above your signs. So if we have it above them, then let's have a look. It would look more like that, which actually looks pretty cool. You can see now on the black a better selection of the glitters, how we've used those different colours to build up that effect. But I would personally have it underneath the signs as normally on the cars. Obviously, they'll have the car painted, lacquered, and then the sign writer will come along and do his work on top. Sometimes they'll lacquer over the top of it, but I feel most of the time it looks better if the signs are above the finished paintwork. So that gives you a basic example of what the glitter effect looks like and how to do that. Obviously, when you're zoomed right out, it doesn't really notice like you've done anything, but when you zoom in on the skin, you can really see the effect you've created. So very quickly, we can't do it actually now because we've blended it all together, but you can fiddle around obviously with the colour of the car, and on different colours it will look more or less effective. Obviously, you can see on the black it looks much more noticeable, and obviously when we pulled it across above the letters, you could see how cool that looks. And again, maybe that would be an effect. You can see, obviously you can just you can lock it to the layer, and then you could just have that painted. So let's see if we can just do that quickly for the sake of showing it to you. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. No, I can't remember it in the moment. I can do another tutorial, as I said, when we're looking at more advanced painting techniques and the letters, we could think about doing something like putting just that glitter effect in that 360. That's actually quite a nice finish. But right, that's the glitter effect done, which is great. And now what we're going to look at finally is just adding those effects and shapes to the skins. I mean, one I found which is a good example of this. Let's have a look and see if we can find it. It was Ricky Finney's. Here we go. His Mark II there. This sort of effect is what I'm talking about in the letters. Let's load up this picture there. These sort of tribal patterns. So we'll have a play with this and we can see what we can do. What I've done is I've just created a document here with some tribal patterns in. What I'll do is I'll try and upload this to a Google Drive. I'm not sure exactly how to do that, but I'm sure I can have a look. And then you guys can access these. But all I've done to do this is I've just Googled basic tribal patterns. I found this, I've copied it into Photoshop, and then I've just used the magic wand tool to lift them off the background. Again, if you want to, we can do a separate video showing you how to do that in another time, but it's pretty self-explanatory. But that's how I've got these. Obviously, as I said, I will try and upload them onto a Google Drive account, and then you guys can use them as well. But for the moment, what I'll do is I'll just use these. So we've got obviously tribal 1, tribal 2, tribal 3 and tribal 4, and what we're going to do is using these shapes we're going to try and create this effect that we're going for here. Obviously they're not exactly the same. You can draw your own shapes with the pen tool. I had a go at doing something similar to that on Illustrator. I've drawn some rips here, and then also, where are they? Let's have a look. I've drawn these sort of shapes as well, which are quite popular, but we can have a play with them there here as well. So we'll use the different effects and see what we can create. So to start with, let's just have a look. We'll use these tribal bits, so we'll simply just select the one you want. Let's start off with this one, tribal 2, and just drag it into the document that you're looking to add it to. And then there we go. There he is in there. So Control and T will transform it, create it a little bit larger, and then just again rotate it a bit to sit a bit nicer behind the text. So we'll add that one there. That looks pretty good. We could almost use the same one and just duplicate it to come up here. Maybe rotate it around a little bit. There we go. That looks quite cool. Make it a little bit bigger and just stick him in there like that. And then obviously we want to change the colours of these. In Ricky's one, I think he uses an orange and a grey. So we'll replicate something similar here. So we'll change this one to a sort of relatively, let's have a look. No, his is a lot more red than that. Somewhere around there. So that's the code if you want to copy it. ED5F2E, and then we'll obviously do just OK there. Let's have a look. And then we'll set that one to the same. And then what we'll do is we'll grab another one of our tribal bits from our document here. Maybe a more simple one. Maybe this one here. That looks quite good. Again, drag it across. Position it where we'd like it in the document. Again, it is all a matter of personal taste of what you think looks good. I mean, obviously something like that looks all right. It is behind the copy layer. I'll make that important. That needs to be the case for these grey ones of how he's got it on his anyway. Obviously you can do it how you like. It's your skin, that's the whole fun of it. Yeah, just set it like that and then set this one behind there as well. And then what we'll do for these is we will just set the colour to a sort of reasonably dark grey, something like that. And then tribal 3 here. Just double click on it to bring up obviously the layer style, and then just change the color overlay back to the same. And what we will do quickly, it is a little bit harder now we've added all these paint effects, but as you can see, let's just go back to Ricky's. It doesn't do it too much, but it looks a bit confused like that, I personally believe, with the logo. So what I'm going to do is grab the 2 orange ones, so they're tribal 2. Let's just drag them together, and then we can just select them both, right click, and then convert to a smart object. So we're just editing them both at once, and we'll do the same with these as well. Just convert them into a smart object. So with the top layer, the orange ones, what we'll do is if we just click on that and then select the stroke, what we can do to help just offset these a little bit is just click on the color and then just pick with the eyedropper tool there a bit of the body color. Obviously it's not perfect, but that will help a little bit. You can maybe increase the size of the stroke, just help them stand off. So let's set this to about maybe 8. That looks all right. Just stand off each other a little bit. Obviously you can do the same by all means with the other tribal colours as well. That's something you can do just like that. I mean, I think that personally confuses it a little too much, so we'll get rid of that stroke there. And then obviously once you're done with them, just group them all into a convert into a smart object there. So now we're editing them all as one. And obviously what I'm going to do here is, just for the sake of it, normally with rookies it does you sort of like run behind the numbers. The numbers have outlines and stuff, so we can try play that quickly if you want. We can just set a very simple number style on here. Let's just increase the stroke a little bit. Set this color to white. Change the size of the inner glow a little bit, something like that. And then you can see already the rough effect that that's giving and how it can improve the skins. Another effect you can do is if you select on your tribal and then select the eraser tool. I think it's E on the shortcut. Yeah, so just click E on your keyboard. It will come out of this little black sort of cross circle. If you just click on it, it'll say smart object must be rasterized before proceeding, so just OK. And then this means you can just rub it out, as you can see here, and you can do this just around the numbers if you wanted to. Obviously, again, this is me literally taking 2 seconds to do it, but you can just see that can also create a different effect of adding a bit more detail into the paint. So I mean, there you can see that's we've been through the different effects now. So if we turn back on the glitter as well, then you can see obviously you can set the glitter above that if you wanted to, like that, or you can it looks quite nice actually of it below, but we'll add it above because it'd be more realistic. So that's how you can add some more detailed paint effects into on your skins. I hope it's been helpful. I'm not sure how long the video's gone on for, but hopefully it's not too long. What I'm going to do next time is we're going to look at adding a bit more details to the signs, and also on Photoshop. I'm not sure. I'm working with Photoshop CC, which is the most up-to-date one, just because I use it for a lot of other things. So it makes sense for me. I know you guys are probably working with maybe older versions, but we can look at saving styles on text as well, which is really useful. So you don't have to keep on going back and recreating the same thing. So like those numbers, as you can see, we'll do it with this S Morgan one. So where are you? So if we go onto the layer styles option quickly, if you click on styles, obviously I've got pre-saved styles here, which you can just click on, which are quite useful, and then obviously you can play around with them. So depending on the size, obviously you can fiddle around with them to make them fit a little bit better. But for the numbers, I have one that I use, which is really useful, and it's a good way to look at it and to learn. So we'll look at that in another video, because obviously it saves you going through and recreating the same effect over and over again. But as I said, that'll be another video. But for now, I hope this has been helpful. So obviously we've looked at adding the effects, the depth to the signs. We've looked at glitter, and we've looked at adding these tribal shapes as well. And it does obviously create a nice effect, and it improves it definitely from, if we turn off a glitter, that's your basic as it comes out of the, as it appears, and then we can add it, improve it to something like this. Obviously, if we just take away the signs, that would be more. Let's have a look. Where are you? And then there we go. So that's your sort of effect. Obviously, it looks a lot better than your basic one there. But yeah, as I said, I hope it has been helpful, and I hope you understand why I'm doing the videos now, as I gave that little explanation as well. And as I said, if there is any other questions or anything you'd like to look at, then then by all means do please ask, and I'll do everything I can to help you with that. But apart from that, I hope you found this helpful, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. And don't forget, practice it yourself. Don't ask people to do skins for you. Practice it yourself, and in no time you'll be better than me and doing these videos.